When negative things happen in your life, one of two things happen, right? You get bitter or you get better. God knows everything about my life, and he allows situations in my life to grow me and to conform me to his image. One of the things you're going to find out in life is that there are going to be times in your life where you're going to suffer, and it's not going to be justified. And if you know David's story at all, you know that David went through a pretty good portion of his life suffering because he was just David. I mean, he didn't really do anything. He wasn't. It wasn't his fault that Saul hated him so much. In fact, Saul was driven by jealousy and by envy, and it really motivated him to want to annihilate David. This is what he set out to do. And so David really went through about 10 years of his life, 11 years of his life, where he was really attacked because of the fact that he was just David. He didn't do anything. I mean, you remember the story where he was playing the harp and for King Saul to try to soothe him, and Saul picked up a spear and tried to pin him to the wall, and then he spent a lot of his life just running from Saul, hiding in caves. This obviously is one of those psalms that he wrote during that particular time of his life, and I think it's very important to listen to how he talks to God, because it's a great model for us to follow in when we are suffering unrighteously or unjustly. So what I'd like to do is just pull out 6 things out of this psalm, and 6 things that we should pray whenever we are suffering unjustly. You're going to experience it. It's going to happen in your life. You're going to have people get angry at you, or you're going to have people get jealous at you, or you're going to have people get resentful towards you, and you have no idea, and really it's nothing of your own doing. This is a good way to pray, and this is a good psalm to pull out when you don't really know how to pray. So let's look at, just kind of walk through this psalm. And let's look beginning, obviously, with verse number 1. It says, "Hear a just cause, O Lord. Attend to my cry. Give ear to my prayer, which is not from deceitful lips. Let my vindication come from your presence. Let your eyes look on the things that are upright. You have tested my heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me and have found nothing. I have purposed that my mouth shall not transgress." So the first thing that David prays for here is he's praying, Lord, vindicate me. Lord, vindicate me. That's his first prayer. He actually says that in verse number 2. Let my vindication come from your presence. I think it is always good when we are suffering to look at why we are suffering. Okay, try to figure it out. Try to analyze. Why are we suffering? Why are we going through difficult times? You know, sometimes we suffer because we got big mouths, right? And we say things we shouldn't say. Sometimes we do things we shouldn't do, and these are the consequences of it. You know, it's really kind of foolish to go out and rack up all kinds of debt and then say, God's not taking care of my needs. Well, I haven't been responsible. There's a reason why I'm suffering in this particular area. But there are going to be times where you're going to suffer and it's not explainable. And I think the first thing to do is to look at your own heart. To say, okay, why have I done anything? Look on the inside. Do I need to repent of anything? Is there anything I need to change? Is there anything I need to do? And if you can honestly say, God, I don't believe that there's anything here in my life that has caused this suffering to come on me, I'm asking you to vindicate me in this particular situation, because I am not suffering justly. I am suffering unjustly because people are out to get me, or people are out to hurt me. And so this is his prayer. And this is what he says, Lord, let your vindication, let the vindication come from you, not from me. And this is his prayer. He is pure in his heart. You know, I understand being falsely accused, and I think everybody in this room does. And you have to look at things and go, okay, is there any truth? Is there any kind of a hint of truth in there that I'm doing this for ulterior motives, and what's the reason behind it? And if there's no, then God vindicate me. And that's here the first prayer that he prays. The second thing that he prays is found in verse number 4. He says, concerning the works of men, by the words of your lips, I have kept away from the path of the destroyer. Uphold my steps in your paths. that my footsteps may not slip. So 2, 1, I want to pray, vindicate me. The second thing is, I want to pray to God, hold me. This is what the psalmist is praying. He's praying, hold me. Now, what does he mean, hold me? Well, what is the temptation when we have been attacked? What is the temptation when somebody is kind of running our name through the mud or saying stuff about us that's not true? What's the temptation? The temptation is to retaliate, right? So the temptation is to strike back. Somebody's talking about me, then I want to strike back. I want to make them pay. And I want to get even with them. But we know that according to Scripture, that this is not how we should respond, correct? Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith Mark Doss. No, saith who? Saith the Lord, right? Now, is this a strong temptation that you will face to get even? Absolutely. And so what the psalmist is praying here, God, please hold me back in a sense. Hold me from doing something that I know will be harmful to me. I know will hurt me. It's just like, it's so funny to watch like baseball. You're watching baseball and you see a baseball fight, you know, and they're holding them back. It's like nobody's going to do anything anyway, but they are in a sense holding them back from, you don't want to bump into the referee, you don't want to do something really stupid. Somebody's trying to hold you back. This is what in a sense he's praying. Lord, hold me back from doing something that I know would have terrible consequences. Because I want to tell you this. If somebody flings mud at you and then you pick up and fling mud at them, who can tell the difference? You both are covered in mud. Well, I'm not going to let them get away with it, okay? Remember Saul, when Saul was chasing after David, and David's hiding in this cave, and Saul comes into the cave to use the restroom, and so all of his men look at Saul, and look at David and go, this is your chance. This guy's been trying to kill you. This is your chance. And remember, he went over and he cut just a piece of his garment off to show him, hey, I was in the cave and I could have killed you, but I didn't. And remember, he felt guilt about that? Because what's the temptation? It's to make people pay. But if I'm responding to people in kind, then I'm sinning too. It's if somebody throws the first punch and you throw the second punch, you're both throwing punches. And that's the temptation that we're going to face, and that's what he's praying here. He's saying, hold me or uphold my steps in your path that my footsteps may not slip. The devil's gotten a lot of really good people who are following him by having somebody then slander them, and then they've retaliated in kind, and it's just destroyed their ministries and destroyed their life and destroyed their reputation because they had to get even. Okay, and it's just a temptation that all of us are going to face, and I just challenge you to pray as they prayed, as the psalmist prayed here. Lord, hold me, protect me, hold me back, hold me from doing what I know is hurtful and harmful and will ultimately destroy me. Next is found in verse number 6. I have called upon you, for you will hear me, O God. Incline your ear to me and hear my speech. Show your marvelous loving kindness by your right hand, O you who save those who trust in you from those who rise up against them. Number 3, the third thing he prays for here, and the way we should pray, is bless me. He's praying for blessing here. When you're hiding in a cave, you're not really in a position of strength, right? You're in a position of weakness. You're not out kind of making your way, or boy, when you're running for your life, you need God to work in an extraordinary way. And so his prayer is, Lord, show me your loving kindness. Show me your powerful right hand, your marvelous right hand. And he's just asking God, please bless me. I'm not in a position of strength. I'm in a position of weakness. My reputation may be ruined, what people think of me because they're believing what this person is saying. It does not look good, and I can't make my own way. I need you to bless me. I need you to help me. And this is how he's praying when he's unjustly suffering. He's praying for God, please bless me. Bless me in this situation that I'm in. Bless me financially. Bless me spiritually. Please give me peace. Give me help during this particular time. And this is what the psalmist is praying. The next thing he's praying in verse number 8, he says, hide me as the apple of your eye. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. Number 4, the fourth thing he's praying here is, God, protect me. He is praying, God, protect me. Keep me as the apple of your eye. And he uses 2 examples there. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. The phrase under the shadow of your wings sometimes pictures a mother protecting her young. But often it refers to the wings of the cherubim in the Holy of Holies of the tabernacle. God, protect me. It's hard when people are saying things about you or when they're doing something about you. You're really in a bad position because you can't go on Facebook and defend yourself. Because then you look small. And you can't pick up the phone and call everybody that you think has heard or text there. I mean, you can get a really bad spot. So what he's praying for is, God, please protect me. Protect my reputation. It is amazing how that you can work your entire life to have a certain reputation and have a certain name, and it can be destroyed just by scandal, just by somebody saying something, just by somebody throwing out a false accusation. So his prayer is, God, please protect me, protect my reputation. And that is his prayer here in verse number 8. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. Verse 9, from the wicked who oppress me, from my deadly enemies who surround me, they have closed up their fat hearts. With their mouths they speak proudly. They have now surrounded us in our steps. They have set their eyes, crouching down to the earth, as a lion is eager to tear his prey, and like a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O Lord, confront him, cast him down. Deliver my life from the wicked with your sword. Number 5, the fifth thing he prays for is defend me. God, please defend me. I am unable to defend myself. He's asking God here to fight for him. God, please fight for me. And then the last thing is found in verse number 14 and 15. He says, with your hand from men, O Lord, from men of the world who have their portion in this life, and whose bellies you fill with your hidden treasures. They are satisfied with children and leave the rest of their possessions for their babies. Now, this is kind of a confusing verse, and what I think he's talking about here is, for the world, this is all that they have. And so he's saying here, men really fight for their portion on this earth, and they're going to win that portion, and they're going to pass that portion down to the next generation. But that's all that they have. They have nothing past this life. It's the term that you've heard before and we talked about before. For the wicked, this life is as good as it gets. So, hey, your neighbor gets a bigger boat or buys gets a bigger television. All this. There's nothing wrong with all that stuff. But any pleasure that he's going to have, if he doesn't come to Christ, this is it. He's pursuing that. And what will happen is he accumulates more stuff, and he gets more stuff, and it brings him more pleasure. Well, this is it for him. And he'll pass that down to the next generation. But if the next generation doesn't come to Christ, this is as good as it gets for them. And that's what we always got to think. So it's very foolish for us to be jealous of the wicked when this is as good as it gets for the wicked. And so whatever 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years they have down here, that's it. Okay? For the believer, this life is the worst it's ever going to be. So if you go through terrible times and terrible adversity and you have all kinds of problems, for you, this is as bad as it's going to get. But the best is yet to come. And so then verse 15, he says, as for me, I will see your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake in your likeness. Now, I think this is important here. The last thing he prays is, God, transform me. God, transform me. Transform me. The psalmist here is saying to his enemies, you did this to break me, but God did this to grow me. I think that's important. You did this because you thought it was going to break me, but God used this to grow me. One of the sad realities of life, and I wish it was different, but the only way we grow is through adversity. I would like to get bigger muscles just by eating certain kinds of food. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would like to just, if I could take these pills and drink this stuff, and then I just have six-pack abs and big arms. Wouldn't that be awesome? It don't work that way. It's a lot of pressure, right? Lifting weights and going to the gym and putting a lot of effort in and eating the right food and all this stuff. It's work. It'd be great if we all got saved and immediately we're like Jesus Christ. That would be great. Now, one of these days, when we get to heaven, we're going to be free of this life and free of our bodies, of our earthly bodies and our sin nature, and we will be like Jesus. But we ain't there yet. So what's God doing? What's the process we're in? The process of sanctification. It's making us like Jesus. So if God is trying to make me like Jesus, and one of the ways he's trying to make me is he's trying to make me more patient, how do I get more patient? By being put in impatient situations. How does God make me more loving? By putting me in situations that require my love to grow. That's how God does it. He doesn't do it through, all of a sudden I have this super duper dose of love, which can the Holy Spirit absolutely transform us? Yes, he can. But he uses people, he uses enemies, he uses adversity to grow us, to conform us to the image of Jesus Christ. And that's what the psalmist says here. He's like, they meant it, as for me, I will see your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awaken your likeness. That I'm going to get to the end of this process, and at the end of this process, I'm going to be like Jesus. And I'm going to be closer to Jesus than I was when I started this process. Because look, when people slander you and people lie about you, you have to turn to Jesus because he's all you got. Because he can do stuff you can't do. I can't convince you in your heart that I'm telling you the truth. Only God can do that. God has to do stuff that I can't do on my own. So what happens is that when I look to him, then what happens? I talk to him, I hear his voice, I listen to him, I speak to him. I'm constantly in this relationship with God, and this grows me closer to him. It's transforming me. It's not in the easement of life that we grow. It's in the difficulty of life. We grow when we're suffering. So when we're suffering, we run to Jesus. And this is, you go to Deuteronomy, and this is what Deuteronomy is talking about, where one of the big concerns in Deuteronomy was, he goes, if I give you everything you got, then you'll turn your back on me. You won't cry out to me. You won't look to me. So God was constantly having to put the Israelites in these positions where they were having to look to him. So maybe God allows us to suffer falsely so that we'll take our eyes off of this earth and take our eyes on him and make us look to him. And in doing that, it transforms us. So this is a great psalm to pray. You are going to suffer unjustly in your lifetime. You are going to. You are going to work in a situation where you're going to have people lie about you and people say stuff that's not true, and you're not going to know what to do. What I would recommend you do is pray this psalm. You're going to have people that were once your friends that become your enemies, and they're going to say things about you to hurt you with others, and it's just based upon jealousy or envy or hatred or dislike, and people are going to seek to destroy you. I mean, look, I don't know about y'all, but have you ever just looked at somebody and you're like, I just don't like them? You know what I'm saying? In the sense that there's just something there, we're not clicking here. And I don't say that's right, but that's kind of our human nature. You're going to get inside the church, and you're going to start interacting with each other, and this person's going to run, and I don't really like them, so I'm going to seek to destroy them. And you're going to have people like that in the church. How do you pray? You pray Psalm 17. And what do you pray? God, vindicate me. God, you know my heart. This is what's in my heart. And I want to scream from the mountaintop, this person's a clown, but I can't do that. Please vindicate me. Please reward me for my sincere heart. David's not claiming that he's perfect here, but he knows in this situation he is. This is not perfect, but he knows that it's sincere. So he prays, vindicate me. If you're going through this, pray, hold me. God, keep me from doing what they're doing to me. Because that's always what you want to do in kind, right? Somebody's gossiping about you, you want to gossip about them. Somebody punches you, you want to punch them. If somebody's saying this about you, you want to say that about them. So we want to pray, God, please hold me. Please help me to resist the temptation in this particular moment. Keep me from doing what my flesh wants to do, because it's a powerful force in my life. And I believe a lot of times the devil will create opportunities where you can do it. Third thing, God, please bless me. I need you. I need your loving kindness. So pray that when you're going through this time, God, please show me your favor. Not because I deserve it. Not because I'm worthy of it. Because that's who you are. And then protect me. Hide me under the shadow of your wing. There are people who legitimately seek to destroy me. And God, I need your protection. I need your care. And then pray, God, defend me. Defend me where I cannot defend myself. Cause somebody to rise up. I heard of one of our pastors recently. I heard about there was a group of people together and somebody started talking about they didn't like this pastor and that. And so here's this guy who's being attacked in a kind of a setting where he can't be, and somebody in the group rose up to their defense. That's God working in that situation. He's defending them. Look, that's what you're saying is not true. It's not this. You have the wrong perspective. It's God in a sense is using that individual to defend them, and that's what we should pray, because we can't be everywhere all the time, but God is. And then 6, okay, God, help me not to miss the lesson that you're trying to teach me in this particular situation. God, help me to grow. Because when negative things happen in your life, one of two things happen, right? You get bitter or you get better. So is this situation making you into the image of Jesus Christ, or are you becoming a grouchy person, an angry person, a bitter person because this situation was allowed in your life? Well, look, God knows everything about my life, and he allows situations in my life to grow me and to conform me to his image. And so I got to quit looking at things and saying, woe is me, and look at situations and say, okay, how is God trying to grow me? What's he doing here? What can I learn in this particular situation? Get your eyes off of the person that's inflicting the pain on you and get your eyes on Christ, who longs for you to look at him anyway. Get your focus on Jesus. And that's really what this psalm's all about. So this is a great psalm. You don't know how to pray, don't know what to do, pull out the 17th psalm when you're suffering unrighteously. And instead of kind of come up with your own words, just use the words of the psalm. Just pray this psalm right here. I don't even know I don't know how to pray, Lord, so I'm just going to quote your word. I think that's a great way to pray. And so I would challenge you, when you're going through difficult times, when you're suffering unjustly, to pull out the 17th psalm.